The leaves are about to turn, as Lonnie mentioned, and it's time to turn in your summer reads for some real fall page-turners. Here with a look at the season's most highly anticipated books is Amazon's editorial director, Sarah Nelson. Good morning, Sarah.
Hi.
There's a lot of big names coming out this fall, aren't there?
Well, the fall is always a big season in books. It's some back-to-school idea we still have, but none of these books are homework. I mean, there are some really, really good books coming up, fiction and nonfiction, from big names like Tom Wolfe and Salman Rushdie and J.K. Rowling, and then some new and more unexpected choices.
And J.K. Rowling is going more to the adult category now with this new book.
Right. She has a new book coming out at the end of this month called The Casual Vacancy. It's for adults. No one has seen it. It's heavily embargoed, as the Harry Potter books were. So I don't know anything about it.
Except it's going to be a big bestseller.
Right. It's going to be a big bestseller. Right.
So let's look at your top fiction pick at this point.
Well, I love this book, and my staff and all of us at Amazon are really loving this book called Sutton, which is by J.R. Moringer, who's a guy who wrote a wonderful memoir a few years ago called The Tender Bar. You might have read it. And he also collaborated on Andre Agassi's memoir. So, and this is a book about Willy Sutton, the bank robber who allegedly said, when they asked him, why do you rob banks, he said, that's because that's where the money is. Right. He didn't exactly say that, but and this is a novel, but it's based very closely on his life, on the last days of his life after he got out of Attica. And he was a very popular, charismatic figure of the time. Right.
Robin Hood type guy.
Robin Hood type guy, and handsome and charming and very well read, and the reporters loved him. And so and it has overtones of today. I mean, you know, who's doing what to whom between banks and regular people. So it's a really wonderful novel. And the other novel that I love and I think is going to be a sort of sleeper hit is a book called The Middlesteins, which is about a very dysfunctional Jewish family in the suburbs of Chicago. As the old joke goes, it puts the fun back in dysfunctional. It's there are a lot of recognizable characters. I mean, not to get too personal, but I recognize some of these people, even though it's a novel.
Nonfiction, you like Mortality by Christopher Hitchens, and the new Kurt Eichenwald book.
Right, that's right. Mortality is by Christopher Hitchens, the late British journalist who wrote about his battle with esophageal cancer. It's hard. It's not a happy book, but it's a surprisingly undepressing book. And 500 Days by Kurt Eichenwald is about the 500 days, the year and a half after 9/11, 2001, and what really went on in the CIA and the White House and in places in Europe and the Middle East. It reads like a thriller, and it's obviously a topic we're very interested in.
And finally, you have something in the young adult category.
Right. Well, young adult now, as you know, is almost all the best young adult crosses over to adult. I mean, The Hunger Games. This is a book that's part of a series, and it's called Days of Blood and Starlight. And the first book was called Shadow and Bone. And it's very atmospheric, and it's about a girl sort of finding her power. It's a strong girl character, but it also has a strong boy character in it. And you don't have to have read the first one to read this one. And the chapters go really fast, and it's a cliffhanger every 3 pages.
In some ways similar to The Hunger Games and Twilight, which have worked very well for that category.
Very much like The Hunger Games, yeah.
Sarah Nelson, thanks so much. Appreciate it.